listening to the Marketing and Yoga Pants podcast, a podcast in sisterhood for female entrepreneurs that serves up savvy, actionable marketing advice and interviews with creative business owners who are in the trenches, building their businesses as we speak. The Marketing and Yoga Pants community is for you, the girl on her couch, in her yoga pants, top knot tight, hunched over her MacBook, trying her hardest to get the word out about her business. So in the name of supporting each other while supporting ourselves, bringing community, sound marketing advice, coffee, chocolate, and wine together for you, yoga pants wearing business owner, in a world where followers mean nothing, but paying customers mean the world, join us on this week's podcast episode and in our private Facebook group where you'll meet your soul sisters and build your business in yoga pants. Welcome back to another episode of the Marketing and Yoga Pants podcast. I'm Brit Kolo, and today is a solo cast episode. It's just me on the mic. So here we go, you guys. I have a really important thing to tell you about. Something super exciting. I'm going to tell you all about it. I'm going to tell you the backstory, how I've come to this moment in time, what's coming next. It's just going to all be in this episode. And I have a couple notes written down just so I don't get completely off subject, but I seriously just hit the record button and I just plan to riff. So if you are in for that, let's do this. You may have already heard, because this episode is coming out on July 12th, I believe, 2018. Currently, I am on family vacation, my favorite week of the year. So I'm on vacation, but I'm recording this about a week early. And at this point in time of you listening to this, I have just blown open the doors to the newest arm in my business. You may have heard about it. You may have not. It is a place on the interwebs where you can find your marketing personality type. And you can find what your marketing strategy is going to include for it to feel good, feel actually good and natural to you and not fake and salesy, right? So this is brand new info. If you've heard about it, awesome. If you haven't heard about it, it's all good. I'm going to tell you all about it today. Either way, you're going to get a behind the scenes look at all of this stuff, which I know you guys love. And I love sharing because I want to be as transparent and clear as possible about the processes and the windy, twisty roads that I find myself on to make things happen in my business, right? So yeah, that was kind of the spoiler alert. I have something super cool for you to go check out if you haven't already. But I wanted to start here and tell you why this matters so much, why this thing that I've created really does matter. And it's because I started to find earlier this year, I knew this was going on, but not quite as much as earlier this year. I was really kind of slapped in the face with the fact that marketing feels icky. It feels fake. It feels salesy. And that was a huge barrier for me as a marketing coach. If the people that I'm trying to bring into my coaching practice already have a really bad taste in their mouth about the thing that I coach about, I've got a huge hurdle to overcome, right? And the hurdle, to be honest, was opposite of what I was finding in my actual clients. Once we started working together, marketing was not feeling fake and salesy. It was actually feeling exciting and not like a burden anymore. So there was a dichotomy, and I had to ask myself the really difficult questions and do the difficult work of breaking down that barrier. And so I started to ask questions like, imagine for a second what could become possible if marketing a business and selling products and services felt easy and felt natural and felt good. If marketing no longer felt fake and salesy. What then? Is that possible? And the answer to that question was yes. I was seeing it in my one-on-one coaching clients that it was totally possible. And so then my job was to start connecting the dots. Why is this working? Why is it feeling easy, natural, and good for my clients to market themselves? And how can I bring this connecting of the dots to my larger audience? And at that time, it was really more like, how can I just tell this to my current audience? And then eventually it became much bigger than that. But what I found was that the reason marketing and sales was feeling fake and salesy was because it was rooted in something not entirely wrong. It was actually very common to root your marketing strategy in these things, but it was only making people feel more fake and more salesy, right? So there are two things that your marketing strategy is probably rooted in right now if marketing and sales feels heavy to you, feels just not good, not something that you really want to be spending your time on. It's like something you have to do, you have to do, but it's really not something you enjoy doing. So, first of all, that marketing strategy of yours that doesn't feel good is most likely rooted primarily in who your ideal client is. And that's a problem. And you may be thinking, wait a second. No. Isn't that what we're supposed to do? I mean, we've heard this from multiple gurus. Marketing is based on your ideal client. Figure out who your ideal client is or your client avatar, where they hang out online, give them something valuable that they need and offer them the stuff that you sell, right? Like that's as clean cut as it gets. And sure, I get that. I was there once as well, thinking that that's how you did it. And you can do it that way. I'm not the marketing police. You can do whatever you want. However, the way that I approach marketing now, and I have been, and I've been watching it work for people, is realizing that considering your ideal client is just one piece of developing a marketing strategy. By only considering that one piece, by only considering your ideal client, you're skipping a huge, crucial step in developing a marketing strategy that works, so it's effective, and that feels good to you. So while the topic of your ideal client isn't completely off the table, I just don't want to start the marketing conversation there, okay? And then the other thing that we have to be careful not to root our marketing strategy in, unless we want to feel fake and salesy, which I don't think that that's our goal at all, is someone else's strategy, right? Creating our strategy based on what has worked for someone else, hoping that it'll work for you as well as it did for them. Now, let me be the first to say, I mean, we've all done this before. And for crying out loud, you're listening to a podcast that asks questions about what other people did to grow their businesses, market and sell their services and products. So maybe you can glean some good information from them. So I get that. I mean, we've all done this before. And again, it's not necessarily bad or wrong. You can continue doing that. I think we make a mistake though when we listen to a podcast, read a blog, watch a webinar, something like that, about how someone grew their business to, name the metrics, 6, 7 figures, 3-day work weeks, or 4-hour work weeks, whatever. They grew their business to this point that we want by leveraging something. Let's just say in this example, by leveraging Facebook group challenges, because those are super hot, right? So we hear about this person that did this Facebook group challenge and they sold out their program and oh my goodness, the group challenge was just amazing. And so then we think to ourselves, that's it. I have to do a challenge. That's what's going to make this thing work. And you set up this big, elaborate Facebook challenge with this big, awesome automated sales funnel. And eventually it all ends up feeling gross and fake and salesy, awkward. And that's if you actually do it. Most of the time we get started and then we don't finish it because it already is feeling gross just in the first, few steps. And it never produces the results that we were really hoping for. So again, I'm not saying that the topic of the ideal client is wrong. And I'm not saying that other people and their strategies are not entirely wrong for you. I'm just simply saying that there's another more crucial, more necessary piece of this picture that a lot of times is ignored. And that piece that is often ignored and that I think needs to be the very first thing we look at when we're trying to build a marketing strategy is you. to market your business in a feel-good way, you must start with you, not with your ideal client, not with someone else's brilliant strategy, not with throwing spaghetti at the proverbial wall, right? I encourage you to start with you by beginning with understanding what makes you tick, because you're the person behind the marketing messages and sales. You're the one at the wheel here. You're the one that has to show up on this platform and that platform and create that video or create that speech or whatever it is. You're the one that's doing it. And so if you feel fake and salesy doing it, you're not showing up as your best self. You can't. I mean, if you feel fake, you're not being your best self, straight up, right? And when we don't show up as our best selves, we can't expect our prospective ideal clients to either. But if we can base our marketing strategy on what feels good and natural to us, we get to show up as our best selves for our audience. And let me just say right now, when you show up as your best self in any situation, that is magnetic. That is attractive. So as you step into your power, into what really feels good for you, your ideal client is going to naturally gravitate to you. She can't help it. Like that's how it works. Now, I know if you're a really analytical, logic-based, pragmatic brain, you might be like, oh no, she's going to get all woo-woo on me. Oh my gosh, I'm turning this off. No, please don't. I mean, you can, whatever, but hang on here. I know it might sound a little, law of attraction, woo-woo, hippie, but it's not. I've been developing marketing strategies based on the business owner first. Specifically, the most important piece is their Myers-Briggs personality type. I've been doing this with my one-on-one marketing coaching clients for over a year now, and it works. It just does. It's no longer a burden for them. Now, are there things that don't always feel supernatural to begin with because they've never done it before? Well, yeah, sure. But as they're certainly more receptive to my suggestions if it's grounded in who they naturally are, and they're more willing to try things. And the trying of things allows them to see, oh, wait, this isn't really that bad. And maybe it's going to take a little practice, but I actually feel pretty good about this right now. It doesn't feel as heavy. And so connecting someone's personality type with their best marketing strategy has truly proven itself to work over and over. And so I've been using this intel, like I said, for over a year now with my one-on-one clients. And then I started earlier this year realizing that marketing really sucked for people. It was not something they looked forward to. I knew I needed to break down that barrier. And I had to ask, what is allowing my clients to not have that barrier? What is it? What is it? And it was this piece. We were creating their marketing strategy based on them and not completely based on this ideal client persona or on what worked for someone else. Yes, they were parts of the puzzle, but that's not where we started. We considered the business owner before we considered anyone else. And so I realized, in this vortex moment, oh, that's it. That is it. That's what I need to bring to the table here. And so I decided to test this theory out, this framework out more, matching someone's personality type to their marketing strategy. And I've been doing that. I've been testing that in my deep dive sessions. If you're familiar with those, cool. If you're not, that's okay. It's where we get together one-on-one with someone for 90 minutes. We consider their personality type and a few other really key pieces of who they are and how they show up in the world. And I take that intel and I connect it to what their ideal marketing strategy is going to look like. Very, very detailed and crazy helpful. Those always blow my mind, but it continued to work. The personality type connection continued to be the biggest aha and the biggest validator and the biggest permission giver to the client, thinking, oh my goodness, yeah, that actually does feel really good. I didn't even realize I could build my business in this way. So I received more and more feedback about how I tapped into something special with this marketing personality framework. And I finally got to the point, it was about late May, and this framework could no longer just remain in a spreadsheet in my Google Drive or just within my one-on-one conversations with my clients. This had to live and breathe and expand on its own place on the internet, right? It just had to. It's bigger than me. And I want to allow it to be bigger than me. I needed to make sure that every single one of you who are listening and every single one of your friends and anyone that ever wanted to know what their marketing personality type was, and anyone that didn't want to show up fake and salesy anymore in their business could just access this information at any time. So now you can. Feels really good to say that. Now you can. This all has a space on the internet now, and you can find out what your best marketing strategy will include based on your Myers-Briggs personality type at my new website, marketingpersonalities.com. It's totally free. You can get in there. You can click on your personality type, get some information about who you are pretty naturally, what you typically believe in, where you find your power, where you find your flow, and then dig in deeper to find what your best marketing strategy is going to include. And when I say dig in deeper, honestly, it's like, I just tell you, just keep reading. And so I'm recording this the day before I pretty much tell anybody about this. So it's kind of weird because I know by the time you listen to this, everyone's heard of it. Not everyone, but I've told my audience about it. If you're in the Marketing in Yoga Pants Facebook group, you've definitely heard about it. But it's the day before I open up the doors to this as I record it. And the feedback is already crazy because the website has been up for about a week and a half now. I did a webinar training on this concept with an amazing group of women and men last week, and it was received so well. It felt to me so valuable, and it felt, here's something meta, it felt really good for me to provide this type of information to people. So that training went really well. I've been able to talk about it on a few podcast interviews that haven't gone live yet, but those will in the next couple of weeks. And every time I get to sit down and talk about it, it's like, yes, this is it. Like, this is it. I can feel kind of my smile dimples just like showing up because I can feel it. This feels really good for me to provide to you. And then accidentally, but I'm pretty sure that God was definitely on our side. This happened for a reason, for sure. Late last week, it got out to just a couple of my audience members that I had created this thing. And we didn't mean for this to happen, but it did. And within just a few hours, the site had a bunch of views, a bunch of users, and it was catching hold. Again, the feedback was so good. And I don't say that to brag. I say that to just fist pump it. Like, I'm so happy about it. I'm so excited. And if you haven't yet gone to marketingpersonalities.com yet, I just invite you to. My vision here, and this takes it even more into the backstory of what this all means to me, is, well, it's deep. Okay. So I really don't believe that any one of us started our businesses or even consider starting a business to end up with something that we still don't really care to do on a daily basis. And for sure, we don't start businesses or think about starting businesses that have a marketing strategy and a sales process that we feel really crappy about, right? Like, we don't set out to do that. We set out to build this business that gives us life and gives other people life and breathes energy into all corners. And we truly want to do it every day, right? And that goes back to really, truly why I started my business and why I think I was called to start a business in the first place, because I grew up not really seeing how a career could breathe life into someone. I didn't really know anybody that actually liked their job. Like, it just wasn't a thing. I mean, either a job was just there and like a means to an end. It just had to be there. There was no questioning it. It just was like, whatever. That's who I am for 40 hours a week. And then I get to have fun elsewhere. Or it was something that was like completely hated. Like, just, oh, I hate it. I hate my job. And so I don't know what it was within me. Well, I do now because I know my personality type, but I tend to be an idealist. I tend to picture in my mind what would be the ideal situation and then do whatever I need to do and be whoever I need to be to make that ideal situation a reality. And I figured out very soon in my working life that being one person and therefore miserable for 40, 50, 60 hours a week and putting your heart and soul. I mean, you guys, also part of my personality, if I am involved in something, I am giving you my 200%. Like there is no, I don't even know if there's 100%. There's like all of me or none of me. And I don't know how to do it any other way. So I get into these jobs that I'm good at and I'm giving my all to, and they're just sucking my life away. It felt awful. And I knew very soon, like, wait, there has to be something more to this whole career and working life thing. There has to be. I am not going to get sucked into this story that your job is just like something you do so you can go enjoy the rest of your life. I want to enjoy all of my life. And there's the ideal picture, right? And so that's what got me started on the path to trying to find the job that would allow me to do that. And then eventually trying to build a business that would allow me to do that. And I now, about 2 years into my full-time entrepreneurial journey, I know that that ideal picture is possible and it's not that far away for people. It wasn't that far away from me, really. As soon as I made the decision, it was like, okay, this thing is happening. And it really wasn't that far away from where I stood, just completely hating what I was doing in my job and basically working my life away. And I want to make that more of a possibility for everyone else. Again, there's the idealist nature there. Everyone else. And I think marketingpersonalities.com offers a unique tool to you who no longer want to just accept the lie that marketing and sales has to feel fake and salesy. And you have to hate sales and you have to be bad at talking about yourself and you have to feel unnatural when you go to market your business. All of that stuff is crap. It's not true. What is true is that you can find a way to grow your business, market and sell what you have to offer in a way that feels good to you and truly breathes life into you and into your business. That's the idea. And that's what I believe I have built. And so bringing that full circle, this is so much about showing up as your best self, not just in your life, but also in your career and in your business. And this is one tool that I have found so far to be incredibly valuable to my own business, incredibly valuable to my one-on-one clients. And already people are just eating it up, which I could not be happier about. So if you haven't already, if you were like driving or at the gym, if you haven't already, like pulled over to the side of the road or taken a knee or a sit and gone to the website, okay, here we go. Here's your invitation. Come check it out. It's all free. Go to marketingpersonalities.com to find out what your marketing personality is. And I'm going to give you lots of information there, including what your best marketing strategy will include based on your personality type. So with this intel, you can say you've got a bunch of options. You could say, that's cool, and I'm just not going to use it. Or you could say, okay, that's really cool. I'm going to put that in my back pocket and see where I can kind of employ it and put it into my strategy. Or you could go full force and be like, wait a second, this makes a whole heck of a lot of sense. And I am now going to sit down and realign my strategy and maybe even my business model to me, which would be ideal, which I'm seeing happen already, which is so cool. So go to marketingpersonalities.com, check that out. If you find your results to be helpful, all that I ask is that you share the site with your business friends and or clients if you work B2B and you think it would be helpful for your clients. The sharing of this is where the true power is. I am sure that this thing is going to help a lot of people. And if that's the case, sharing has to be involved here. So please do share it. Just tell them about the website. It's really easy to remember. And that would mean so much to me. Yeah. And then also, let's just throw this out there. This is happening at the beginning of Q3. Q1 and Q2 were a wreck. I mean, they were a good wreck. They were. I mean, life was good. Business was a little rocky. And I think it was such a blessing for business to be a little rocky because it gave me space and time and energy to really consider all of what I've put into marketing personalities. And if business wasn't rocky, I wouldn't have had that space and time and energy to put into it. So, what a blessing that is. I'm so grateful for that. Up next, I mean, you guys are seeing the minimum viable product, minimum viable iteration of marketingpersonalities.com. I know that there are so many more places this needs to be and more iterations of the site itself, more iterations of the content, better email strategies. I mean, there are, oh man, there's just a ton that I could sink my teeth into. And I will over time. I was encouraged, thankfully, by my mastermind group to just get this out into the world, allow it to be a minimum viable iteration, version 1.0, and then build on it from there. And so I'm staying really intentional. And I think, honestly, to pat myself on the back, I'm staying consistent with the idea that, yep, it could, there are other things that I could do with this thing, and I will. And I don't need to do it all right now. And I don't need to wait to get it out in front of people before I've, made it into this big elaborate thing. I mean, it is kind of like a big elaborate thing as it is. And I see that there are more implications, more iterations. And I'm just here at the beginning, super fired up about the connections that I've made between the personality type and the marketing strategy. So lots more energy to put into this thing. And I'm really excited about where that's going to go. I'm just going to allow it to flow and see what happens. And yeah, I'm so hopeful that this is one more thing that will allow my business to grow and expand throughout the rest of the year into 2019. And I'm going to just throw this out there, you guys, because I mean, this is what we're all about. You got to throw out what you want, ask for what you want, and it'll come to you. I really do believe that marketing personalities is my thing, kind of my shtick. It's the thing that people are going to recognize me and my business for a while. And so I cannot wait for it to get in front of those people, those important people. But beyond that, just give the big fat permission slips to all of you to show up in ways that feel natural and feel good to you. And so you don't have to feel fake and salesy anymore. And I think what really jazzes me up, and this is because I already did a webinar training on this topic to a team of people. I think that I shine. One of my strengths is definitely within that webinar training space. And so I can definitely see the opportunity to offer this framework to audiences and groups of people in trainings, in workshops, whether online or offline. So I'm just throwing out into the world that, joint venture webinars, standing on a stage, taking someone through a training that allows them to find their best marketing strategy based on their personality type, and then showing them what to do with that fires me up. I want more of that. Yes. Happy. Thank you. More, please. Like, let's have more of that. So that's what's next. Crazy, right? Like, that's kind of exciting. I hope you've enjoyed this peek behind the curtain a little bit in this invitation into the new world of marketing personalities. And again, go find yours. If it resonates, if you kind of dig it, I would so appreciate if you would share this website with people that you think could use it. If you're someone that thinks, yeah, like I want Brit to train my group on this stuff, hit a girl up, right? That's why I throw it out in the universe. That's why I say it. So definitely get a hold of me. Talk to you soon. And I'll definitely be back. I'm going to do this just on the fly. I want to look at my podcast schedule. There it is. Okay, so right now, our air date of this podcast episode is July 12th. I'll be back for another solo cast episode on September 6th, 2018. That episode is going to be my year in review for my second year in business. I quit my corporate job August 26th, 2016. And so August 26th, 2018 will be my 2-year business anniversary. And so right around that time, I'm going to record a solo cast, give you my year in review, give you a picture of what evolved in my second year, lots of recommendations for second year business owners, a peek at what's next, all of that stuff. So we're going to do a 2-year review. You'll get that in your earbuds September 6th. And I'm super pumped about that. So you have that to look forward to. And in the meantime, you have got, oh my goodness, you have got some incredible interviews coming your way with some, telling you right now, with some jaw-dropping guests. These are some people that every single one of them, I mean, I love all my guests. Some of them I know well as I interview them. Some of them I don't know. I'll tell you right now, all the ones you're going to hear between now and September 6th, I know them really well, and I cannot wait to get them in front of you. They're going to be so good. So, hey, thanks for listening. Thanks for just being on this ride and checking out marketingpersonalities.com, sharing it with a friend or a client or somebody. And I will catch you back here next week with a new interview episode, and then in just less than 2 months with another solo cast. So thanks for listening, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Marketing and Yoga Pants podcast. Keep the conversation going by visiting marketingandyogapants.com/Facebook, where you'll get to join that private Facebook group I've been talking so much about. There, you'll get to chat with our podcast guests. Yeah, they're in there too. And all of the other brilliant creative business owners. We're connecting, we're meeting our soul sisters, and we're building our businesses, all while in yoga pants. So come hang out with us. Again, visit marketingandyogapants.com/Facebook to get in. And one more thing. If you dig this podcast, would you be awesome and share it with someone? This entire Marketing and Yoga Pants movement is nothing without its community. So please share. And if you're really feeling the love right now, jump into iTunes. You're probably already there if you're listening to this right now. And leave us a rating and review. The more of those we rack up, the more the podcast will be found by ladies like you, and the stronger this community becomes. This episode was edited and produced by the Podcast Engineers. They're pretty great, so go find them at podcastengineers.com. This episode was also brought to you by my online marketing agency, Jam Marketing Group, and you can find us at jammarketinggroup.co. That's all for now. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you back here next week on the Marketing and Yoga Pants podcast. Love ya. Bye.